Hello, everyone, and welcome to BodyBags. I'll be your reviewer for today. I'm Lonnie from Tats, and we're doing a random week this week. And the movie that I decided to go with took me by surprise. And I got to be honest, I was actually I went into this movie to be honest with you. I went into this movie with pretty much zero expectations, and I ended up being actually pretty pleasantly surprised by it. You already know by the name of the video. The movie I'm talking about is from Digital 4, which I think that was one of the main reasons why I went into this not expecting much, because Digital 4 movies, a lot of times their movies are not really the best quality in terms of story or anything, story technique, anything like that. But this one actually did surprise me, and I was overall impressed with it. And the movie is open 24 hours. And I'm going to be honest, I found this in my local record store, and to be honest, what really sold me on it was the slipcover. I thought the slipcover was super cool, and I brought the movie home, and now I thought, oh boy, Digital 4, oh boy. Oh well, I'll give it a shot. And like I said, I ended up being happy with it. The movie stars Vanessa Grasse or Grasse. I'm not exactly sure how to pronounce the last name. Excuse me. You would remember her if you had seen the movie Leatherface. She played the main female character. She was the nurse, Lizzie, in that movie. Um, and honestly, it's like after watching this, I personally feel like she was completely wasted in Leatherface, because this girl is a very, very talented actress. And okay, let's get into the story. You know, Vanessa, she plays this girl named Mary White. And Mary has just been through a very, very horrifying ordeal. What is the boyfriend's name? James Lincoln Fields. Okay. So she was dating this guy, James Lincoln Fields. And what ended up happening was she had discovered that actually he was a serial killer. And he had the nickname the Rain Ripper. Sorry, I know I'm looking at the back here, but anyway, she had discovered that he had been killing people for quite a while, and that he had been hiding bodies. She found out that he was hiding the bodies in the basement, and then when he found out that she found out, then he forced her to watch him kill some of his victims, which of course, I mean, traumatized her to no end. And when he was about to kill her, she managed to, get gasoline on him, and she set him on fire. And he survived. He was badly burned, but he managed to survive it, and he ended up going to jail. So some time passed, and Mary, she ended up, I believe she was put into a mental institution and stuff. Well, she gets out, and now she has to start the whole process of trying to build her life back up again and starting over, and trying to return to normalcy, which is like, I think that's one of the interesting things about this movie. This movie makes you think. you know if you had been through such a horrifying traumatic experience like what Mary's been through, how do you come back from that? How do you survive, just inside and everything else? I mean, I know people will be like, well, you're going to have to be on a lot of drugs and, tons of therapy and all that kind of stuff. But I mean, still, I mean, you are going to be struggling with that for the rest of your life. And we find out that Mary is struggling with it, and she's struggling very hard with it. She's paranoid. She's hallucinating. She's, like I said, she is really, really try to put her life back together again. But at the same time, she's having to suffer through a lot of super serious PTSD after what she's been through. Well, she, goes to this gas station, and she's actually able to get a job. And she, at the beginning of the movie, that's what happens. She's talking to the guy who runs the gas station, and they're talking and everything else. And he's like, I honestly think that you're a good person, and I think that I think that you really want a chance. I think you really want a chance to kind of get back to normalcy, as much as possible. So he's like, I'm going to go ahead and give you a chance, and give you a job. And the gas station is 24 hours, and you're going to be working the night shift. And she agrees to it and everything. And so she's like, I'm just happy to get a job. I'm just happy that somebody is taking a chance on me, because not only is she having to deal with PTSD, she's having to deal with a lot of the backlash which came with the when when it was found out that she was the when she was the victim, and he made her watch the way he killed his victims and stuff like this. A lot of people felt that she was not the victim. They felt she was an accomplice, and that she was in fact she was a part of killing these people. And so not only is she having to deal with that, but she's also having to deal with family members and friends and of the victims, accusing her and trying to ruin her life as well, and trying to make sure that that she's as miserable as humanly possible. But so she's happy, she gets the job and everything. Then she finds out she's got basically like a parole officer, and he's checking up on her, and she's like, she's at her wit's end with this guy. You could understand why, because he's kind of giving her shit, and like he just walks into her apartment, like doesn't knock on the door or anything, and just lets himself in and everything. And this guy's kind of irritating. But she tells him she's starting this job, and then it turns out that Mary actually has a female friend. I'm sorry, I can't remember the character's name, but so she's like, well, I'll drive you to work tonight and everything. One thing for me personally, like one thing this movie definitely feels very much like a cross between House of the Devil, Ty West House of the Devil, and the gas station segment in John Carpenter's BodyBags horror anthology. Not the name of the channel, the John Carpenter movie. So it definitely feels like a very strong, connection between those two movies. So she goes and, she starts her first night on the job, and her coworker is played by Brendan Fletcher. You would remember him from, mostly you would remember him from Freddy versus Jason. He played Will's friend, the one who Freddy is attacking him, and ends up burning into his back, and his brother killed himself, which was played by Zach Ward. And I think you've probably seen Freddy versus Jason, so you know what I'm talking about. And one thing I will say about Brendan Fletcher in this movie is the more I see of this guy, the more I like him as an actor. I've seen him in this. He's really good in this. And of course, Freddy versus Jason. He did the movie Hearts of America, is a Uwe Boll film. I think that's how you say Uwe Boll. That was a movie about a school shooting and stuff like this. And like I said, the more I see of this guy, the more I like him as an actor. And so Mary comes in, and he's like the evening shift guy, so he just kind of shows her around and everything else. And they start talking, and they form a bit of a friendship. So they're talking and everything else, and it's really, really helping Mary. But of course, the one thing that's not helping her is she's on the night shift in this place. A lot of the time she's alone, so it feeds into her paranoia, and it feeds into her hallucinations and stuff like this. And it's not really helping her PTSD. Okay. But but she is happy that okay, the guy that hired her, he's a really decent guy. She has this girlfriend that is, just really, really supportive and really helping her out and being there for her. And now this guy who's her coworker, he's understanding and, like a good guy to talk to and stuff like this. But then we come to find out that there's some really, really spooky, weird things going on. And, come to find out, people are going missing and bodies are turning up, and we start getting in some gruesome, bloody kills. And you get some red herrings in this movie. You know, you start to wonder, like, well, what is going on here? Is it her boyfriend, James, the Rain Ripper? You know, because the parole officer actually comes by and tells her that, you know, the power shut down in the prison. There was a prison break, and that, you know, her boyfriend was one of the ones that got out. So is her boyfriend coming to get her? There's also a red herring of a mother of one of the victims is out to get her and is harassing her and things like this. So, you know, who can it be? So there's a little bit of that going on, but, you know, then, you know, Mary, she has to like really start to try to pull herself together, because now she's having to deal not only with, you know, what she's dealing with already, but now people are turning up missing, people are turning up dead, and what's going on here, and, you know, who's killing these people. And I think I've given away enough already. I'll just leave it at that. But like I said, this movie is pretty well done. It's, you know, it's a good script. The character of Mary is very, very sympathetic. You were with her through the entire movie, and Vanessa Grasse or Grasse, she is such a good actress in this movie. She does such a great job playing that character. You know, she really wants to help out, you know, her girlfriend and, you know, her coworker, and, you know, like, she really wants to try to save the people around her. You know, she is a good person. And I just feel like she did an amazing, phenomenal job acting in this movie. You know, like I said, you know, watching this, I feel like her talent was really squandered in Leatherface. Like that just felt like such a nothing role compared to this. She gets so much to do, and she conveys a lot of, you know, really strong emotions, and you believe her, you buy her as this character, and you sympathize with her, and you want to, you know, you see her struggling, you want to see her survive. And I think it's worth watching the movie just for that alone. I mean, you know, especially nowadays with, you know, all these movies with these lead women characters who are just despicable and unlikable, and you can't get invested in the characters and stuff. It's nice when you can still get a movie with a female lead that you can identify with and sympathize and care about her, you know, and you do with, you know, with Mary's character. But also too, like I said, this movie really does get you thinking. It makes you, you know, you start to think. It's like, you know, how do you, you know, how can you even begin? How can you imagine like having to try to begin putting yourself back together, and after you've been through something so terrible, and you know, I mean, like, just how do you go through all that, you know? But honestly, but you do get some good, violent, bloody kills in this movie. You get some great practical gore effects. You know, it may not be the most original concept. Like I said, watching this, I felt like I was watching a movie that was a cross between House of the Devil and the gas station segment from John Carpenter's BodyBags anthology. But still, you know, this is a pretty well-made film. It's well written, likable characters, interesting. You know, the killer ends up being pretty interesting, and I would actually recommend giving this movie a chance. You know, I think, you know, like I said, you know, I went into this with literally no expectations whatsoever, and I ended up being really happy with it, and I'm glad I took a chance on it, you know, and I'm glad, you know, even though it was a snazzy slipcover that first pulled me into it, I'm glad that it paid off, you know, because it would have stunk if I watched this movie and it sucked, and it's like, well, no, I'm not going to keep this, you know, if the movie sucks, I'm not going to keep it, so I'll sell it, you know, but no, actually, I ended up liking it, and like I said, Vanessa Grasse or Grasse, I really hope. There are certain actresses that I see in horror films that I really, really want to see in more films. She is one of them. Gemma Delander is another one from I Spit on Your Grave 2. I have seen her in only 3 films, and she has completely blown me away at every single time I've seen her. And so there are certain actresses, and this one too. You know, there are just certain actresses like, man, I really, really want to see them in more movies. You know, and it's irritating because there are like certain actresses out there. You're like, how the hell do they keep getting work? Rachel Zegler, but then you got these really great actresses that, you know, it seems like they should be getting better opportunities. You know, but honestly, I would say, yeah, you know, I mean, give it a shot. What can it hurt? You probably might be able to find this, you know, free to stream on maybe like, you know, Vudu or maybe Prime, Tubi. You try Tubi. So, but honestly, I say, you know, go into it with an open mind. Give it a chance, and I think you might be surprised by it. I certainly was. And I think that's about all I can say about it. So, yeah, so if anybody took the time to watch all this, I thank you for doing it. I appreciate you for doing it. I honestly hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, could you please leave it a like? And if you haven't already, please subscribe to the BodyBags channel. We have a different reviewer, one for every day of the week. I am the Saturday reviewer, and I'm still blessed to be a part of this company. So that's it, everybody. Take care. Have a good night. And I'll see you all later.